But
Yes.
I'm so glad to be here with you.
Yeah, no, same. It's great to see you and just to be here and love it. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes. So yeah, that I'm glad you're here to speak with myself and the solo community. And I must say that you've been a source of inspiration throughout my aesthetic journey. So I'm sure
Oh,
that yes, for sure.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Um, and I just want to say, to me, you're one of the best that are out there. And I want to say thank you for your contribution that for all the wealth of information that you bring to the industry. It's well
Oh,
appreciated. Yes.
thank you. Yes, I love it. And I feel, I mean, what else are you going to do when you've been in skincare for so long? It's really important to me to be able to help my community, elevate my community, and just build a really strong team of esties out there, just to really be able to support our clients. And I just feel very blessed. I've known what I want to do at an early age. That's great because now you can just sort of knuckle in and just be your best every day. So I really
Yes,
love it.
yes. Well, we definitely appreciate that. Okay, so before we get started, why don't I let you just take a moment to introduce yourself and give the audience a little bit of background about yourself, and and then we'll move along.
Okay. Well, yes, Nerida Joy is my name. I am originally from Sydney, Australia. Well, I grew up on a farm and went to beauty school in Sydney when I was 17. I found I just was always fascinated with skin, and so studying skin and being in Australia where we have the highest skin cancer in the world was really interesting to learn, just how skin is so easily, it's volatile to so many different things, including, our inner gut, our external, and just what we can do and how we can really protect and change our skin. So this, for me, at age 17, was something that was really fascinating. I went on and studied more in the holistic area because I felt I just needed to know more. And just looking at somebody's skin and not knowing why things were happening was really important to me, to sort of really delve in and find something that would just help me understand more. So okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Have I? Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
there we
Okay.
go. Yeah, that's great. Because I'm like, she's not here. I don't. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you for
I'm so
that.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's all
I
right.
was yeah, so sorry about that.
That's fine. That's fine.
So I think sort of really understanding, studying nutrition, and there's a lot of, nutritional avenues out there that don't all make sense to me either, by the way, because everybody's got their sort of different ways. So it was studying it, but really exploring what worked, because understanding that everybody's so different. So I really put a lot of work into nutrition and just meeting a lot of different people that really had very different views on nutrition. And so anybody that sort of really took an individual and spent the time to know their life story, their just their environment, and just how they ate, and just, there's so much to it. And I really liked that people explored that more. For me, I really needed to do that. So I studied nutrition, I studied kinesiology, bush essences, color therapy, foot reflexology, iridology. I did all of these things, and I kept going for years and years, just trying to sort of have it make sense to me, because I can't do anything that doesn't make sense to me. I
Don't we
couldn't work
all?
for a boss because, when the boss said, oh, no, you have to do your facial like that. And I'm like, but my hands don't move like your hands. And so I ended up sort of really going out on my own when I was 19 and starting my own business. And then I was so busy. Then I started my second one when I was 21. And I continued my businesses and just building them in Sydney. And then I moved to America when I was 29. And it was a long time ago. I came here in 1989. And so my journey has been a long one, but it's really been wonderful.
Wow.
And I will continue to learn. There's always so much to learn. And I think that we really have to understand that everybody's different. That we all have come into this world with different, systems, like different weaknesses from our parents and our grandparents. And I think the more that we can learn and understand to really be able to pinpoint specific areas on everybody is just a win-win, and I think that way you can really design your own magic and perform that. So
wow, that's very impressive. That's very impressive. And if I must say, did I read somewhere that you've done over 100,000 facials?
Oh yeah, well over that. Yeah, because I've been doing hands-on work for 46 years, and I wasn't one to take vacations. I mean, the only time I had 6 weeks off was when I was, having it when I had my children.
Right.
And
right.
And I, when you're in salons, when you're, doing 7-8 facials a day, and you're working 6 days a week, and sometimes 7, it's not it's easy to get to 100,000 over those years. Yeah.
Yeah. When I read that, I think I had to do like a double take. I was like, I have a lot of catching up to do.
Oh, that's
All right.
funny.
And so one other thing that I do want to ask you about is I've been hearing about this 5-star method course. Is that correct? Is that the name? Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are. The 5-star method. Yep.
All right. Tell me a little bit about that.
Mm. Well, my 5-star method is it's my life. It's my life's work. It's I when I first came to America, I realized that it's a package being a 5-star esthetician. It's not just being able to do a great facial massage or just being able to do great extractions. It's a package from the time that you meet your customer in how you make them feel, in the way when you take them into your room, your treatment room, the presentation of your room. When you're walking around your room, what are your shoes like? Are they clunky? Can how are you closing your cupboard doors behind you or your hot cabbie? Are you closing it gently because your client is resting? What are your nails like? Are they chipped with nail polish? Is your hair, back off your face and at least not in your client's face? And I think that, are you selling product? That was a big one for me because I used to always feel, what if they can't afford it and they're going to think I'm pushy? But you know what? If you are not selling products and home care regimens and you're not designing that regimen for your client, you're not a good esthetician. You have to be recommending product. And you see, so all of these things are really important. And so what the 5-star method is about, it's a training course. It's an actual course that you go through and you get certificates as you go. There's 5 elements to it. There's the skin analysis, which I think is really important because without understanding what you're looking at, what do? You have to know what you're looking at. Then you've got the preparation, like in your mind, you're thinking, okay, I've looked at her skin. Now I need to prepare my treatment. I've got to think about what I'm going to do because customizing your facial in an hour or 90 minutes is how you build a business. You customize your treatment for your client right at that moment. And sometimes that same client has a different facial every time, seasonally, whatever's going on for them. But you really need to think about what you're going to be doing that's going to be the most successful for your client's skin at that moment. Okay. And then the treatment itself. You need to be mindful of time. You need to be mindful of everything you're doing and do a really great treatment and be thorough. Be really thorough with your treatment. Make sure you finish your massage moves properly, that you're doing extractions and you're doing everything properly. You're being thorough with what you're doing. You're looking at the neck. You're looking at the décolleté. You're paying attention to these things. and you're telling your client, you know, your client can feel, oh, when you rub your head here and they're like, oh God, thank God she's looking at my décolleté. You know, like they notice everything. They notice if you do 3 moves this way, and if you don't do 3 moves on the other side. They
You're
notice
exactly
all
right.
of that. They really do. So, and then there's the you know, the home care regimen is like, how do you design a treatment regimen for your client? Because you have to make it personal for them. You know, your treatment, you can't just put products out and just sort of say, well, here's your regimen. It's like, no. Tell them what they're doing. Like, tell them why you're giving them this. Tell them the why. You're going to use this because this is going to make your melasma better. You know, it's going to lighten
It's
your
for you.
melasma.
Yes.
That's right. This is it. And by
Yeah.
the way, in a month, I'm going to switch you out to something else. But this is the, you know, you've got to tell them each step and why they need to do that. And the importance of home care is just, it's so important. I can't even tell you. Like, it's just like, without a home care regimen to get them on, you don't want them using bits and pieces that they've learned about on TikTok, or, you know, you want to take control. You want to be the professional, because that's how you build a business. So, and then the education, you know, it's important to constantly be learning and growing, and there's new things coming out in our industry all the time. And it's really important to be able to, you know, to really sort of, to keep up with everything. When a client says, what do you think about this treatment? It's nice to know what they're talking about, because maybe you've read something about it. So the 5-star method it's these 5 elements, and it's, you know, a lot of video. There's it also has all my tours. You know, there's portions of my tours that's filmed, that's in there. There's all my articles. I'm on the board of New Beauty magazine. There's all my webinars. I've done 8 webinars, you know, on different kinds of acne, on massage, on iridology. So it incorporates a lot of my work, of my life's work. And it's a really good course for esties, because it gives you the confidence to understand more. And I think as an esthetician, it's scary when you come out of beauty school. You know, it's like we're supposed to know so much, you know, now. And it's hard, you know, it's hard for new people to feel confident and still be able to do an amazing treatment. So I think it gives you the knowledge, it gives you the confidence, and it's just a course that you pay one fee for, and you've got it for life. And I keep adding to it as, you know, there's new things come out. There's a new model I'm going to be doing, that's her whole next 3 months is going to be added, her treatment on acne. And so it's
it seems pretty detailed.
It's very detailed. That it is. Yes.
Well,
yes.
I'll make sure to include that in the chat box. I'll drop with the link if somebody's interested in knowing more, learning more about the 5
sure. It's 5-star, and it's FIVE, you know, not the numeral, the number.
Well, I'll make sure
FIVE, 5-star method.com. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll make sure that I drop that in the chat as well. And then, while we're on the topic of links and things, what's your Instagram, if somebody wants to follow you?
Oh, Nerida Joy.
Okay.
Yeah, Nerida Joy.
Okay,
yeah. I think my YouTube channel's Ask Nerida Joy, or maybe you know what? That's a good point. Maybe it is Ask Nerida Joy.
That's fine. I'll make sure I drop the correct link.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what I've done is I've prepared a list of questions that I pulled from the Facebook community. And so I kind of just want to put those out there for you to answer. And then the audience is in listen mode only. But at the end, we'll go ahead and open that up. And then they'll be able to, you know, if they have any questions for you, then they'll be able to ask you those questions themselves. Okay?
Great.
And so, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive in, okay?
Great.
So, first question is, can you share your expertise on the latest skincare trends and treatments that are gaining popularity in the industry?
Well, you know, when people ask about the treatments that are going on, the newer things that are coming out, they usually involve some type of modality, because the old fashioned was kind of the way I do it a lot with my hands. I'm very hands, so I think that, I know there's a lot of popular treatments out there with modalities, and a lot of them being, microneedling. I just, I have to sort of jump to, I think that the one thing to say is that I really try to steer my clients onto just having really good skin and taking care of their skin and having a great regimen. And then when you've got a good, healthy skin, you can at least afford to maybe go do some things, be it at your dermatologist's office or be it by, a professional esthetician that is trained to do the treatments. I think that if you are somebody that likes to do microneedling, microdermabrasion, any of these modalities out there that are being used, I think study it in great length. Really study it, really understand what you're doing. And I do really, I mean, again, it's not something that I personally do, KimBella, really. I like doing massage. I like doing sculpting massage with my hands. I do a lot of extractions. I'm very big on extractions. They call me the extraction queen. I love peels. I love AHAs. I love retinoids. And so as long as I've worked with the skin, they have been hugely successful for me. And I'm not too fazed by a lot of new things that come in. But that being said, it's not to say that they don't have a place. They do. But if you love doing microneedling, then just study it be the best at it, really exhaust it and study it well so that you understand exactly what it is you're doing. And I think that that's what I would recommend is if something makes sense to you and you love it, study it beyond everything, really exhaust it.
I think I would definitely have to agree. I agree with you on that. It's just, I used to tell my boys that growing up, like, whatever it is that you want to do, just be the best at
That's
it.
it. That's
So
it. Be the
yeah,
best at it.
I totally agree with you on that. Okay, so moving into the next question, what inspired you to pursue a career in aesthetics, and how has your journey shaped your approach to skincare?
Yeah. When people ask me this, I can get very emotional very quickly.
Okay.
And people have seen me speak on stage, I can get very emotional. At a very young age, I wanted to make people feel good. And I think that I'm a Pisces. I'm somebody who's a nurturer who likes to, just be that kind of person, right? So when I started beauty school, the school I went to was a French school, and it was very professional. And everything was very clean and very professional. And I really liked that. I like coming from an environment that it's easy to be lazy, every day, especially if you're a solo esty working at home, or, I think it's really important to, or wherever it is you have your business and wherever it is you go, you've got to always be the professional. Put your makeup on, put your hair back. Like, it doesn't matter if you're working from your house. Like, put on the right clothes, and because it makes you feel different. So I think when I started out, I started at a very professional school that made me feel, so good, because I was like, wow, we had to wear a uniform. And it was really, they looked at us, they made sure our nails were always nice. Like, they really wouldn't let us get away with things. And I'm really grateful for that start. And then, how has it sort of shaped my career? I love being able to help people. It's when you understand, and all of us, anybody out there that's worked with acne, know how painful it is, and how painful it is to see young people with acne and just what they deal with on a daily basis, you know, and just it's people think that they're not clean, and they think all these things, and so they're dealing with so much. And it's been a really important part of my life to help people feel good. And so very often, you know, I'm saying to somebody, if you can fly here from the UK, I'm going to treat you for free. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to get your skin better. And so I think that ultimately, I just really want to help people, and I want to help people understand what they're dealing with. I don't like that a dermatologist or a doctor is telling, you know, a beautiful woman going and lying on their table, you know, they're saying, well, you should do this cheek implant and this, and completely ignoring and that women, we're already, you know, vulnerable. We just want to be told we're okay, and that we look good, you know, and who is it for somebody to say we're not enough, being just who we are and having good, pretty, healthy skin, you know? So I'm a very big advocate for women. I'm a very big advocate for children, because I think that women are so beaten down, and being in a city where it's Tinseltown here, and the pressure to look young, whether you're a movie star or not, it's so intense. And I cannot tell you the amount of people that come in and lie on my table, and that they've just gone to have some Botox somewhere, and they've come back and the doctor has just said, well, you need to do this, and in other words, you're not good enough just being the way you are. And they burst into tears, and it really pains me. Like, it pains me so much that I'm like, who is that doctor? Give me his number and his address, because I'm going there right now. But, you know, I wish there was more consideration and just more understanding that we're all different. We're all uniquely gorgeous, and that is something that is a huge movement for me, to be able to help women know that they're enough, whatever it is, whatever age.
I like,
you know, yeah. And so my drive, it has very much been that. And when I first came to America, I was like, oh no, we're not. No, we do more. We can help our clients feel better. They don't have to be doing all of these injections. And by the way, which doesn't make them happy anyway. They're, you know, it's really understanding it and just helping people feel good and understand what they need to do to feel better. That's it. You know, and that's my drive. That's why educating and elevating my industry is really important to me, because I think that we have a very important place in this world to be able to help women in particular, and young kids. They don't need to go on medications for acne if you understand the origin of where that acne comes from. Like it's there, and yes, we have it if we need it. Thank you very much. But let's start with some other things first. Let's start with diet. Let's talk about that for a moment. Let's start with good home care.
You're so right.
So for me, the drive to be able to help people understand more is really important to me.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, you are so right for that. I mean, that is, I think the diet is, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest things to consider when
Really big.
When you're talking about skin, you know.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on into, let's see. Could you highlight some of the most effective well, let's see. I was going to ask, could you highlight some of the most effective skincare modalities or techniques that you have found that deliver? But you just said you don't use modalities, so I think we'll just go ahead and skip that. That's fine. What advice would you give to aspiring estheticians looking to establish themselves in the competitive beauty industry today?
This is a really great question. I'm going to say that if you love doing massage, like, what is it that you love, and what is it that you feel you can do well? I'm going to say, on a spa menu, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do waxing, eyebrows, blah, 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 and be all of it and be great. But if you love something, Be great at that. Put your energy into that. So, for instance, you know, I had this man, he's an Esty, he reached out to me. He said, Nerida, you know, I work at a salon. They want me to do a 60-minute facial. And he said, but I feel really good. And I finish my clients in 45 minutes. And the client always thinks I've gypped him, but I've done everything and I feel really good about my 45-minute facial. And I said, well, you know what? You need to either go to your boss and you need to say, you know what? I love doing my 45-minute facial. I feel I'm really thorough with what I do. Can I have a 45-minute facial? I don't mind if it's a little bit less in price. Or if you're going to go work somewhere, say, you know what? Because as a business owner, when you have people working for you, I love it when my girls come to me and say, you know what, Nerida, I don't like this brand of tweezers. I don't like this. I'm gonna say to you, what is it that I can get you that's going to help you be more successful? That's it. I'm going to help support you 1,000%. Oh, you don't like doing facials? You like doing makeup? Great. I'm giving you a makeup stand. We're going to give you whatever you want, because I think that you have to be a good listener. But if you are the employee or the one starting out on your own, what is it that you love? Don't try and do everything. Be great at what it is you love. And because that's how you're going to build your business. I don't have a PR person. I now work alone. I don't take new clients. I have my clients. My clients have all been word of mouth. I'm not that kind of, I don't want to be that kind of person, have the big spa. I did have it for a little while, but I don't, it's just not what I want.
Right.
And I don't do waxing anymore. I don't do certain things anymore. I just do facials and I love it. And I'm really good at it. And because I get really good results and you know, but it's just, you have to not be afraid to kind of really think about what makes sense to you. So I'm going to always say to an SD, what makes sense to you when you do a facial? Like what makes sense? Really think about it, and then do more with that, you know. And because the things that make sense to you and the things that you're passionate about, you're going to master those. And when you master them, you are going to build a business like you cannot even imagine. I mean, when I worked at a hotel spa and I was hired there to come in and build it to be a 5-star hotel, the spa, there was like 40-something people that worked in the spa, and I was one of the estheticians out of the 40-something people with the massage, the nail techs, the other esties, and I made a third of their money. Just me, out of the 40, you know, one people that worked there.
Right.
Because, and it's all I did was facials, you know. But it's like, when you found something that you love, and maybe you love doing lots of massage, as do I, by the way. My tools are my hands and my mouth. I'm an educator. So my client's going to learn everything about their skin, and they're going to know how to take care of it when they go home, and they're going to know when to come back and see me again. So this is, you have to really, it has to make sense to you, and then master it.
There you go. That, I think that's the key. Finding your niche and honing in on that, you know, and
that's right.
Yeah, and eat, breathe, sleep. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I definitely agree with you on that. I definitely agree. That was great.
Absolutely.
That was thank you for that, because that was a great answer for that. Okay, let's see. How would you approach creating a personalized skincare routine for clients with diverse skin types and concerns?
How would I go about approaching it? Is that what you're, sorry, Kimberly, is that what you said?
How do you approach creating a personalized skincare routine?
Okay. I think that it's really important. I'm someone who's very honest with my clients, and I can't be any other way. So in other words, if a client comes in and I'm working on their skin and I see that they're, you know, I can tell if their cleanser's wrong. Like, if, you know, I can tell what's going on. Obviously, you know, we're looking at the skin. We can see if they're you know, they're lacking hydration, if they've got sensitive areas, maybe a little perioral dermatitis. I'm going to really, you know, I talk to my clients about what it is they're doing right now. And I usually want to know the products that they're using. Sometimes if their skin is just not good in any way. They're surface dry, they've got large pores, they're breaking out, they've got all these things. I don't even care what they're using at home, because what I'm going to tell you, I don't even want to know, because guess what? It's not right for you. None of it. So let's start from the beginning. I'm very direct. I don't like to talk to my clients from behind the table. I walk around, I look at them in the eyes, and I say to them, okay, let me tell you what's going on right now. And I tell them what's going on with their skin. And I'm going to say, you know what? Your eye area is fantastic. Whatever it is you're using around your eyes, it's great. Keep going. Okay. That's it. But this and this and this has to go, and we're changing it out. And I think that I'm just very honest with them, but I don't, you have to force your eyes. See, this is really important for new ST. You've got to really force your eyes to look for things. And that's why, you know, I have this sheet, this checklist. Have you checked for large pores? Have you checked for cuperos? Have you checked for melasma? You know, is there facial hair? Like all of what I call subconditions. You don't know what they are until you force yourself to look. And your client doesn't have to know you've got this check sheet beside you, because they've got goggles on. And you have this, and you force your eyes. Oh, do they have large pores? Let me look. Oh, do they have, you know, blackheads in the ear? Let me look. And you see, when you train yourself to look automatically at all of these things, you don't need your checklist. But in the beginning, you see, a new ST they're so kind of caught up on, my gosh, time maybe, or I've got to do a really good massage, that they're missing things. They're not focused on all of these things, which understandably, you know, can make you nervous. But what I always say to people is, you put your goggles on your client and you say, you know what, you touch them here, and they can tell you turn their head, you're looking at the neck area, and you say to them, you know what, I want to be really thorough today with your skin analysis. And it's going to take me a couple of minutes, but I really want to be able to pinpoint all the areas of concern, and that's what we're going to focus on. And so that gives you time to go through things, you know. So I think it's really important to be really thorough. You should be able to tell your client about every part of their face, even the good parts, not just the parts you can make better. But like if it's the eye area and you say, my gosh, whatever it is you're using around your eyes are fantastic. They're so hydrated. You don't have any shadows there. There's no lymph buildup. I mean, wow, you're doing a phenomenal job with your eye area. But the neck, honey, we got to do something about the neck. You know, whatever it is, you've just got to you've got to be thorough with your analysis. And then you really need to pinpoint areas of concern. And that's what you talk about. And you already know, because it's important that you understand and you're a good listener for your client. Like, what is it that that troubles you about your skin? And whatever it is they say, even if they say, oh, it's these big pores I've got on my face, they're so huge. And you're looking at them thinking to yourself, well, they're really not that big compared to big pores. But you have to acknowledge that. And I might say exactly what I said to you. I know you think you've got big pores. And by the way, I am going to clean them out, and I'm going to shrink them a little bit today. Don't you worry about that. But they're not really big compared to big pores that I've seen, right? So you just you really need to know what your client is concerned about, and then you need to tell them anything else you see. Because if you don't tell them everything, and they see something else and you haven't mentioned it, then it's a problem. You know, then they'll probably end up going somewhere else. And so I think that it's really important that you're thorough and you pinpoint areas of concern, and you have to tell them everything, what you see. You may not be able to address it all in one treatment, but you need to tell them what you're going to be doing in that treatment and how you're going to be addressing that, because you've got to win them over with your knowledge and your confidence. You know, if you can tell somebody something that, oh, wow, I can't believe she noticed that I've got this, these blackheads or whatever, they're going to be really impressed. You know, don't just do your moves and think that's enough. Always educate.
That's why I always say knowledge is key, and being knowledgeable and being able to give that information to the clients is definitely key,
Yes.
So when you talked about the good areas or the good things that you see, say the customer is using something over the counter. Are you one of those ones who are strictly like, no over the counter, anything?
No, no, absolutely not. Like my client that came in today, I mean, I've known her probably 15 years. And I just said, oh my gosh, your skin is fantastic. I remember what your skin used to be like. Your skin is more youthful now than it was 15 years ago. And sometimes when their skin is in such great shape, even if they did bring in something else, I can tell if there's something not right.
Okay.
So if someone said to me, oh, I just picked up this new whatever, and if their skin looks good, I'm going to say, well, you know what? It is doing great for you, because everything is so specific in how it works. Like your cleanser is very specific. Sometimes if people are using toners or they're just stripping it too much, it's like, what are you using that's an AHA or a retinoid? Like, and a lot of people use prescription, and sometimes it's just too much for the skin, you know? So I think that, you know, they don't have to use absolutely everything I tell them, especially people that, you know, I've been seeing for years and years. I mean, you know, most of them use what I tell them to use all the time and nothing else, but sometimes they'll bring in other things. And as long as their skin is looking good, I'm like, fantastic. This is great that you're using this, you know, $800 eye cream. It's beautiful. It's working perfectly for you. Fantastic. So, you know, it's just sometimes it's very, sorry about that. Sometimes it's very, it just depends, but generally, you know, I think it's just really important to give your clients the confidence also to know that, you know, that they've got this, you know, they can tell if their skin is feeling dry or if it's, you know, a little,
Right.
you
Well,
know, so yeah.
that's good to know because I think that's a I don't know, that topic comes up a lot. Like, I mean, some people, like I have some estheticians in the group, they'll email me or DM me privately because they didn't want to ask the question about something that was over the counter, because sometimes people just go nuts over that when they find out people are using anything other than professional products. So that's a good aspect to hear from you. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so I think we have two more questions coming. What are the key factors what are the key factors that clients consider when selecting a reputable professional esthetician? What is it that you think draws a client to a specific type of esthetician?
Mm. I mean, you know, I think that um I think that a lot of it is reviews. You know, people will write reviews about, I think that that matters a lot when, you know, when people will look at reviews, Yelp reviews or something like this. But I think that I'm usually, if I'm looking for something, I'm going to ask people, I'm going to get recommendations from people where they go. And a lot of people that, you know, my business has been built on referrals from, you know, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have Jennifer Gardner as, you know, one of my clients
Yeah,
of
I read
over
that the
20
other
years.
day.
Yes. So
Nice.
she's always sending people to me, you know, maybe she's working on a movie with someone. And so she's always referring people. And so I think that I think referrals are really good. I think that, I mean, that's my business because I don't have a PR person, and you know, I write, obviously I write for New Beauty Magazine. But a lot of that, I even, you know, that sort of being in that position was because people know that
You're an
that
expert.
this is my life. Yeah. And it's something that I sort of take very serious. So I guess if I had to say for somebody else, I think that, you know, when you're doing really good work and you're changing people's skin, and maybe you could, you know, offer a referral program on some people that you that you've known them for a long time, but usually, you know, people are going to say, wow, your skin is so good. And they're going to say, oh, it's because I go see this esthetician here. But I don't know if that's necessarily the right way. It's just like a lot of people, like for instance, Jennifer Garner, I'll just say this. Jennifer Garner gets, you know, things given to her all the time to go to all these big famous spas for facials, right? But she doesn't use them. So, and a lot of the time you see, you know, that a lot of the time, if you're a celebrity, a lot of celebrities expect to get things for free, right? Well, I don't work like that, you know, so I'm sorry, it's just not what I do. And by the way, if you cancel on me within 24 hours, you're going to be paying for the full price, because I'm not a doctor that spends 5 minutes with a client. I block myself out for big chunks of time. And I, you know, that's it. I can only see but so many people a day. But I will say, when you build a certain reputation, and it's very important that you have your boundaries with this, like you charge if someone doesn't show up, like you have to set boundaries of what your worth is. And you see, and that way you're going to build a really nice clientele that's respectful of your time as well, right? So I think the thing, like I've told this story before, but during COVID, when I wasn't able to work, but Jennifer Garner would send me money and just in Venmo me and say, well, this is for the facial I wish I was having with you today. Which is such a classy woman, right? I mean, and that's the thing that I'm saying, is that it's just like, you've got to be kidding me. How wonderful is that?
That says a lot about you. That says a lot, you know?
But I will say, if there's ever I've had to cancel somebody within 24 hours too, I am doing them for free. I mean, it's just how I work. It's not just if you, you know, cancel me. If I cancel you, oh, your treatment's free too. It works both ways. But I think that you have to establish rules, because it's about your worth. And I think that's really important, to understand that is equally important.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That's nice. Okay. So, how do you prioritize client satisfaction to ensure that their skincare goals are met through your services?
Yeah, well, that's really important to me, because sometimes I want to talk to them in a couple of days, and I want to see how they're doing on the regimen I've given them. Sometimes if I'm feeling, you know, I sometimes people are so broken with their skin, and I'm talking again about acnetic skins, that I want to be able to talk to them and say, you're doing good. Hang in there. We're going to get through this, you know? So sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling about how volatile my client is, I'm going to say, I want to talk to you in 2 days. This is all I want you to do until we talk in 2 days. And sometimes I've got to hold their hand a little bit, and I'm very happy to do that. Other times I'm going to say to somebody, I know you want me to give you a retinol tonight, but I'm not. You're going to do exactly this for 2 weeks. And when I see you back in 2 weeks, I'm going to then give you a retinol, but I'm not going to give it to you now, because, by the way, I don't trust you. You're going to use it. And I need you to wait. I need you to wait on it. So I think sometimes I'm tough, but I'm also very caring. And I think that I think that you have to be direct with people, and you've got to give them an idea of what's going to happen over the next 3 months. Like yesterday, I posted on my Instagram, I think on my Facebook, I posted on there a client that I'm seeing for the first time, and I said, give me 3 months. Now, she's had acne for almost 10 years.
Okay.
And I said, you give me 3 months, because we're going to change this. And I know that I've asked her to send me photos every couple of days of her skin, because I've started her on a very basic regimen. And a lot of the time, that's what I do. Really basic: one cleanser, one moisturizer, a healing gel, and a mask, and sunblock sometimes.
Okay.
But I need them to get their skin back to basics, because a lot of the time, by the time somebody comes to see me, they've already exhausted everything. They've used the strongest things you can possibly imagine. Their skin is so stripped and so sensitive. I need to get them back to basics. And so I think it's really important that if you set something up for them and you give them an idea of what's going to happen, you're going to be really spotty for 5 days, but after that, this is what's going to happen. I want to see you back in 2 weeks. This is what we're going to do. And you give them an idea of what to expect. I think that's really important.
Then they trust you. That's important.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think you really have to give them an idea of when you want to see them, what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be working on, and how much, I'll say sometimes, look, I know that we can get your eye area 30% better very quickly. Like sometimes I'm talking like that too. Like I feel you've got to take charge, and you've really got to. And by the way, if something's happening and this is stinging, please call me immediately. Know that sometimes it's not always perfect. And sometimes we give them something that they react to in a way that we weren't expecting. But it's just important not to back down from that and say, hold on a second, don't use it anymore. I need to get you this. Sometimes I'm driven, another well-known client, her makeup artist, I've driven her something, the makeup artist, because, the skin sometimes reacts a certain way. And I've gotten my car and driven, 45 minutes to give the makeup artist this, specific thing because of whatever's going on, for whatever reason. But I think, my clients are really important to me, and getting their skin to be the best it possibly can is really important to me. It just is.
Yes. Well, if you're driving 45 minutes to take someone something they need, yes, I would say your clients are very important. All right. So we're coming up on our final question, and then we'll open it up for the audience. I know they're probably ready to get their questions in. So the next one is, in your experience, what are some common misconceptions or myths about skincare that you often encounter? And how do you address those to clients?
I think that a big myth is that is exfoliation, over exfoliation. People over exfoliate, and I think that it's something that needs to be handled very, very gently. Because what people don't realize is, if you don't wear shoes on the bottom of your feet and you're walking on sand all day, which is exfoliating your feet, it also thickens and hardens them. And so I think that when people do too much exfoliation, they're damaging their skin barrier, which then sets it up a problem for everything they put on after that. Or I think that over granule, scrubbing the skin is not great either. I think that that's one big myth. I think the other one would be that, people always think that, well, I could just get it, I want my skin to look like a baby's butt. Yeah, well, good luck, because I sort of think that, that's with the exfoliation thing, right? But I think that sometimes too, the other thing is what people don't understand is when you have an oily skin, you don't need to nourish it, but you need to keep it hydrated. And I think people with oily skin are so afraid to use moisturizers because they're so afraid a moisturizer is going to make their skin break out. But you have to understand, a moisturizer that is made for an oily skin is healing. It's not nourishing, it's healing. And the only way you can get an oily skin healthy is you've got to hydrate it. You really do. So I think that that's something that I would say is a big thing too. Yeah.
I think I would have to agree with you on that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Nerida.
You're welcome.
Wow, I think I learned so much. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see. It looks like we have some questions in the box. Let's see how we can do this. Okay, we're going to open this up. Marion has a question. So let's see. Marion, are you here? Okay, so Marion's question was, would you recommend taking ingredient courses to learn about ingredients?
I think that it's really important to understand, have a general understanding of ingredients. I do think that is absolutely important. But I think that what I would like to say to the audience is that don't get too caught up on that, because it's not so much about an individual ingredient, it's about a formula as a whole. And I think that that's what people don't understand, because you can have a really great ingredient, you know, it could be something fabulous, but if you don't have it in the perfect formula with the right delivery system, it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. So I think that it's important to have an understanding of ingredients, a general understanding, but I think that it's not huge on my list. Higher on my list would be if I wanted to use, say, Dr. Baboa, okay, skincare line, I would want to speak to the chemist of Dr. Baboa, and I would want to know where they are up here in their head, because I want to work with people that are serious about taking care of skin. That's it. I don't want to work with people that are just interested in making a lot of money on skincare. No, no, no. I want to work with people that care about skin like I care about skin. And that to me is really important. And I get excited about products when you can talk to a chemist and you can really learn from the chemist, because I think that's something that I like to do. I want to talk to the chemist. Share with me, like how does this work? Like, explain it to me, you know. I get excited about that. So I don't really, ingredients, who cares? You know, like people think, oh, well, if they're all natural, they're going to be good for the skin. Well, guess what? Not all natural is good for the skin. It burns, it can, you know, be a
A lot of
problem.
things. Right, right,
You know,
right.
the pH of a product is so important. So, you know, I'm not that impressed by that sort of thing, the ingredient thing. I look at it and I understand it, but I understand more when I put it on my hand or I put it on my face. I'm like, okay, now I can feel if this is good or not. I don't
Okay,
care if it's $1,000 face cream or a $50 face cream.
okay,
It's the price is not going to impress me as much of the quality and how it works on the skin. That's
great.
what's important to me.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, this one is an anonymous. It says, can you share some main points on how to personalize ongoing treatment plans, like for a client you'll be working on for months? So if it's a client
Okay.
who, like you mentioned that acne client you have coming in, right, or something.
Yeah. So I think that every time a client comes in on my table, I'm doing whatever the skin needs at that time. And I think it's really important that, you know, when we as Estes and we have clients we've known for a long time, it's important that you always stay the professional in that, yes, you can chat about your kids and their holiday and whatever, but you always want to bring it back to their skin, where they're at with their skin. You always want to say, you know what, I like, your skin looks fantastic today. But the neck, we need to do some work on your neck. We're going to really focus on this. Please work with me. I need you to do these moves on your neck at home every night, whatever it is. You know, I think that you have to really customize your treatment to make it, to really make it personal for them. And I think that seasonally, the skin changes. You know, in the winter months, we want to have more occlusive. We want that protection. In the summer months, you don't need the same things. And please talk a lot about sunblock, because sunblocks are, you know, the sun is so harsh. And I can tell you, look, if there's one thing that I really want to say, I really want to say this right now.
Okay, say it.
I come from a country with the highest skin cancer in the world. The sun in Australia is it's so hot. We have very little ozone layer from all the nuclear the French did in the Pacific Ocean. It is so hot. If you want your skin to be pretty and to stay youthful, you have to protect your skin from the sun. And I'm not just talking about sunspots, brown spots, and skin cancers. I mean, they're already bad enough, right? But I'm talking about the sun, that UVA makes your skin loose, guys.
Breaks that
I mean, look, if you
right down.
really makes it loose. You've got to talk a lot about sunblocks. And so many people, they got brown spots and melasma, and it's the hardest thing we deal with as an ST. I mean, for God's sake, melasma is a pain in the neck, right? To get rid of. You have to educate your clients about sunblock and the amount they put on their fingers, and they put a tiny bit on, they think that's enough. It's like, for goodness sake, no, use more. You have to educate your client's skin about sun, because it ages your skin, it gives you brown spots, skin cancers, and it's only going to be worse. Because the sun, I talked about this the other day, but with all the satellites going up in 2023, there were so many satellites that the black carbon in the exhaust of the satellites is damaging our ozone, it's damaging our protective layer. They say there's going to be so much more skin cancer and cataracts in the future because the sun is getting hotter. So it's something, please, I really beg estheticians, we have to be really strong about educating our clients about sun protection.
Yes.
Super important. Yeah. Clothing, everything. Really, that's a biggie.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. We have a question. Let's see if Karen's on here. Karen, are you here with us? I want to make sure that, let's see, I don't think I need to unmute anybody. Okay. Maybe people just want to post and then I'll ask the questions. But okay, so we have Karen asked, how long for the first, should it be for a first time consultation? How long should that take?
Well, I do one Zoom through Intro. I'm on the Intro market. They're 15 minutes, but I give them my phone number and I say, this is not just going to be today. I want to, once you get this, I want to keep going until we get your skin better. So usually my consultations, the initial one, if it's booked through Intro, is going to be 20 minutes. But if someone lives in this area, I generally like them to come in, and I generally want to touch their skin and spend time with, like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. But it doesn't just end there. It's like, if there's certain things I need them to get, I want to see pictures of their skin again. I want to talk to them again and see how they're feeling about that. My consultation is at least 3 follow-up calls and maybe Zooms or something like that. But I think it's really hard. I like to get photos of people. I like to zoom in and look at all of that before we start talking, initially. So I can understand, because sometimes you think that people say, well, I've got this and I've got this issue. But then when you look, it's not quite exactly what they think. It might be something else that is very clear to us that we see. So my consultation initially is 15 minutes, but every one of those has my phone number. And we do follow-up calls because I want to make sure that they are seeing results. That's really important to me, that they understand what's going on with their skin and that they know what to do to take care of it, and that we are seeing results within a certain time.
So with your consultations, do they ever involve a treatment at the same time? Or do you just do consult and then you book out the treatment?
Usually, I don't usually just do consults on people. Like, I might offer it to somebody if I think they're a little bit nervous about it, but usually they are coming in for a treatment with me. Okay. But I'm happy to do a consultation. It just depends on, if it's like there was a woman in Seattle, a young girl that had, really bad acne, and she was a consult. And she flies her daughter down to have treatments. But I really want to get my hands on people's faces, you know, that's because I can make it happen a lot quicker, obviously, if I do that.
Right.
So you know, depending on where they live, I just sort of, you know, I mean, do I have success with people I don't see? Absolutely. But you know, I tend to have people, by the time they come to me, you know, my consultation for 15 minutes is $245, right? It's not really inexpensive, but it's not, you know, I need to follow up, and I really want to help people. So you know, if they can come see me, it's I can usually make it happen a lot faster for them. And I try to see if I can do that, even if they fly here and I'm doing them for free. I'm either going to be this or I'm going to do it for free. I'm not like a discount kind of person. It's either I'm happy to do it for free, and I've done many, but you know, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so this next one is Rada. Let's see if are you here? Okay, her question is, if you need to see a client, so if you follow up with the client in 2 weeks, are you charging the same amount, or again, is that something that it just depends on?
With a consultation, you mean, or
I don't know
no?
if it's like I'm thinking, if you do a treatment and you're like, okay, I need to see you in another 2 weeks because we're going to do this. Is it always,
yeah,
or the follow-ups always, or do you charge for the follow-up, or is that included in the original?
it depends. It depends on what I've done. Very often I just want to have a look at somebody's skin. I'm not going to charge them again. And sometimes I might do a little something, especially if I've done a peel on somebody, I want to see them back. And then sometimes I could do a little 20-minute or 30-minute treatment, and it was included in the initial price. But it just depends. Usually for a follow-up, and you know, if I've been able to do everything and be really thorough because I had, you know, the time, and sometimes with acne, and that's a big part of, you know, I see a lot of people, young people with acne. I mean, I have my regular clients I've seen for a long time, but I have a lot of their children as clients. And sometimes initially, I usually say to them, I need to see you 3 or 4 times. Give me that.
Okay.
And then sometimes if I'm not able, maybe because, you know, I've spent 2 hours extracting their face, I can't get to the neck, then I'm going to, you know, when it comes to extractions or when I have to do that, I'm going to charge for it, because it is a lot of work and it's really hard on my fingers, really hard, you know, because I like to be really thorough, and it's how I get results quickly. But sometimes if I've done a peel on somebody and I just, I want to help just that final step of whatever it is with a peel, sometimes I'll just do a little 10 or 15 minutes, just depends. But generally, if it's acnetic skins and I'm having them back because I feel like I wasn't able to do everything I could, I kind of have to charge again. But I usually give people an idea. I need to see you 4 times.
Okay.
So I can pretty safely say, if I see you, and if you look at any of my YouTube videos, I've seen people 4 times and really change their skin in that time. So I really, most of the time, maybe 95% of the time, I only need to see people 4 times. And then I've changed their skin completely, whether they've had acne, whether they had wrinkles, whatever it is. But so it's not something that they're coming to see me for a long time with the same problem, because their skin changes really quickly. And the reason why it changes, and that's why I really mean that you have to pinpoint areas of concern. You've got to be a little aggressive in that you have to be very honest and direct with your clients, and just say, look, if you're you know, if you're going to use this is what I know is going to happen. If you want to do it that way, I mean, I don't have the people that come to me, usually they do what I tell them.
Yeah, I was about to say they trust you. So
yeah, so I don't have the ones that don't do it. I mean, they don't come to me, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it sort of just depends, but I just say, don't be afraid to tell people, you know, don't be afraid to speak up and just tell them because for a long time, I didn't want to sell product because I was scared that they would think I was pushy. And what if they can't afford it? I used to feel bad. But you know what? I wasn't helping them get their skin better. And I made a mistake, and I did that for a long time, probably close to 10 years in the beginning. I was too afraid to tell them what I really thought they needed to do, because I thought, what if they can't afford it? I feel bad. Maybe, you know, products are expensive. You know, I felt bad. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I changed people's lives in such a short time now. If only I was doing that back then, you know. I mean, so I think it's really important to not be afraid to do that. Not be afraid to tell people
I
what they need to
definitely
do.
agree with you. I definitely agree with you
Yeah.
on that, because you really do a disservice to your client by not offering home care
You
or
really
wellness.
do.
You really
And it's
do.
not just us saying it.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
I mean,
so true.
it's
Like,
true.
it's really, really, really true. You're absolutely correct.
All right, I think we just got about a couple more here.
Mhm.
They're coming in though, but let's see. The next one is, we're gonna try Marion again. She has quite a few questions. Marion, are you here? I hope it's not nothing going on where I'm keeping people muted or something, but nobody's saying anything in the chat. So maybe, like I said, maybe they just want me to ask the questions as well. Um, What would you recommend for a newly esthetician to continue with right after getting a license? As far as
Mm.
continuing education important?
Mm.
Where to start? Like, I guess she's saying coming right out of school, she just doesn't know where to start. Does she
Yeah,
need
no, and
to
I understand that feeling. There's, even though I've been doing this for 46 years, I understand, and I remember that feeling of just like, oh my gosh, I just got my license and now I'm supposed to know all of this stuff. I'm going to say to you kind of what I said before, but I'm going to say, don't try and do everything. Don't try and master everything. What is it that you loved? Maybe it's working with acne. Maybe because you've had acne yourself and you understand it and you know how painful it is and you want to help people. Whatever it is, maybe you live in an area where your clientele is, you know, my age, I'm in my 60s. Maybe you have a more mature clientele. What is it that's interesting to you? What is it that you know, what is it that makes you go, oh, I want to learn that? You know, I think that never stop learning, but follow the path of what's interesting to you. And I think that you got out of beauty school, it's a lot. It's a lot to you know, we can't know everything, right? Know that it's, you learn over time and you learn with experience. The more you do, the more you're going to learn. You're going to learn the things you like, the things you don't like, the things that make sense, and the things that don't make sense. So I'm going to say, new out of beauty school, what do you love about it? What part of doing facials, and you know, what is it that you love? And whatever it is that you love, study it more. Practice, practice, practice. I've got a ton of YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. They're played in beauty schools across the world. I've been in Italy and people go, oh my God, I watch your YouTube video. I can't believe it's you. I've been in Munich and the same, you know, in Australia. And I think, you know, and I have a lot happening this year as more education hands-on. So I think that just find the areas that you love and master it. And the way you master it is by just studying that avenue, practice, look at as many faces you can. Don't be lazy, force your eyes to look for things. It's really important to have a checklist, because you don't know straight out of beauty school what you look, you don't know what to do. You need a checklist that says pore size. First of all, skin type. What skin type do they have? It's only 4. Oily combination, dry or dry. Then do all your sub conditions. Do they have open pores? Do they have facial hair? Have they got pustules, papules, nodules? Do they have melasma? Do they have cuperos? Do they have rosacea, eczema, dermatitis? Like, make a checklist and make sure you are forcing your eyes to look, because it's how you learn to be better. Because naturally you're not going to go there, and you need to do that. And so what's their eye area like? Do they, the skin around the eyes is much thinner than other areas on the face? And do they have dark circles? Like you have to have a checklist. So straight out of beauty school, you need that checklist. And you need to force your eyes to look for that until you automatically do it without your checklist.
Right.
It's very important.
I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you on that. And that's something that I also teach in my coaching sessions and calls. It's like, when you invest in yourself and education, and the market will reward you,
Oh,
because
yes.
it's just how it works.
Yes.
You're expert. If you bring a lot to the table, and so if you're able to give your client what they need, you won.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so
Yep.
what course of treatment would you recommend for a client who is on tretinoin and is getting ready for a wedding?
Mhm. I mean, like when you have a compromised skin barrier, you've just got to be really careful. And often when someone's using a prescription, or a strong retinol, um, it doesn't allow you to do a lot more because the skin's already sensitive. So I'm just going to say they're getting ready for a wedding, just in treatment, just be really gentle. Just do really gentle, soothing, calming, cooling, freezer dried collagen. I mean, just things that you don't want to do anything abrasive, because it's so easy. When someone's using a retinol, you got to be really careful.
Yeah, that's
And just everything soothing, calming, hydrating, cooling. Yeah, you just got to be real careful. So very gentle facials. That's it, really.
okay. And next we have Yvonne. Yvonne, are you here? Yvonne wants to know, what top products do you recommend for an SD um to have in our studio?
What are the top products?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
what top products do you recommend? I'm sorry.
That's okay. The line I use is Rejuve. And the reason I use that, I've used them for over 30 years. I did exactly what I said earlier. I went to the chemist. I wanted to know where he was up there. It's not to say we haven't had wrestling matches, almost at some points we have, but especially on stage. but but I think it's really important that, number one, your product line, your tools make sense to you. And I consider products my tools. Okay. So I'm going to have a gentle cleanser. I like an exfoliant that has, maybe the papaya, a little bit of glycolic, something. I need a healing gel. It's an aloe base that I can mix and buffer things back. I love my retinoid formula. I massage the skin a lot in my treatments, even acnetic skins, in preparing them for extractions. I love my flavonoid, my Q flavonoid, because it has arnica, vitamin K. It's great for circulation. It's great for melasma. I need some things that are going to be for sensitive skin. I think it's smart to always assume everybody's sensitive, because a lot of people are, and they're already maybe had lasers and peels and all these things. I love having my fruit complex, my AHAs, because the delivery system, the pH is really good. It's a great product. I have my one for normal to dry skin and one for oily acnetic skins. I like a good massage cream that is going to offer hydration, but isn't going to be comedogenic and a problem for someone who's oily combination. I like masks. I really love masks. I think masks are not spoken about enough. And I really,
Why is that?
yeah, I mean, there's such an important treatment part of our treatment process. I love all kinds of masks. A lot of people, they're surface dry. I like a clay mask, but I love being able to do things with it so it doesn't dry tight, whether I'm layering, paraffin on top of it, or a sheet mask on top of it, or I like freezer dried collagen masks. I like having a lot of different masks. I just think that It's a really important part of my treatment after I've extracted and done my AHAs, and just in that final step to prepare the skin beautifully, you know. So I do like masks and sunblock. And I need my eye product. Yeah.
Do you have a
So
favorite sunblock?
well, I use the Rejuve one. They have a tinted and a non-tinted. I also like the Ultra MD. I know that a lot of people that are sensitive, I don't like a lot of sunblocks, I'm going to be honest with you, because I find them so easily irritating. I'm very big on physical blocks. I like some of the labelladonna powder blocks, especially because I deal with acnetic skins. And so I like the mineral powders, you know, sometimes I think they're really easy to use. I like the Rejuve one. I do like it, and I like Ultra MD. I don't like a lot of the goop, and I know a lot of people love them, but I personally don't. I don't like anything that's too creamy on my skin because I have bangs and my bangs stick to it. I need something that's kind of matte. I like Tizo. I think Tizo 3, I think they have some nice sunblocks. They're good because you can use them around the eye area. But I do think that I don't have to have a lot of things on my trolley, but I do need specific things, and I'm going to always you know, AHAs I give for home care in creams, but you know, yeah, but I do like a good retinol on my trolley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nerida, you have given us a wealth of information. I so appreciate you being here with us this evening.
Thank you.
I mean, it was wonderful. You enlightened me on a lot of things. So I'm definitely going to take that back and incorporate that into some of my treatments. And so I definitely appreciate that. Now, one thing before we just let you go.
Yes.
There was any one thing that you can offer to an esthetician who's looking to create longevity in this field? What would your recommendations or your advice be for that?
Take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. You know, our work is it's not always easy. You know, sometimes you're working in salons where you're having to use a certain brand. Maybe they don't allow you to sit down. You've got to stand. You have to take care of yourself for longevity. And I mean, you have to have massages yourself. You have to physically take care of yourself. I studied with Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer. I'm a big advocate on just mental and physical. You know, we have to allow ourselves time to eat. We have to allow ourselves time to go to the bathroom. Because when you're busy and you're back to back, as I was when I first started at 19, I ended up with anorexia. I had no time to eat. I ate apples. That's all I ate. And I ended up with an eating disorder. And I think that if you want to you have to be healthy yourself. When you're healthy yourself, you're going to be better for your clients. So for longevity, you know, to be your best is learn to love self, and whatever that takes. Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer to me, Louise Hay in particular. I'm very big on affirmations, and I really worked a lot on myself to learn to love myself. And that's a lifelong journey, and it's a personal thing. But I also think that it really is just taking care of yourself, is just the mental, spiritual, and physical. Is find somebody where you can have regular massages. I have a massage every week, sometimes 2, and sometimes they're 2 hours long. And I do it. I've been doing it for a really long time. And I have to say, if I wasn't doing that, I don't think I would be as good as I am. And I think that you have to physically take care of yourself. You just do, whether it be stretching, whatever it is, and just that mental space. You need that for yourself. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I think that was really good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So If anybody has any other questions, I did drop Nerida's IG in the chat along with her link to the Star Method course. You can follow up with her there. It's been great, everyone. Thank you so much. And Nerida, I'll talk with you soon.
Yeah, I'll talk to you really soon. Thank you so
All right.
much. And everybody, thank you so much. And I also just want to honor you, KimBella, by saying that I've watched you, I've followed you, and I think you're amazing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in September. Really looking forward to giving
Oh,
you a big hug,
that
and
means so much.
we'll be honored to have you on my stage. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk soon. Good
Talk
night.
soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.